Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode for Psychological Theatre. Here we are on a beautiful morning where silence is present with all its glory, and there's a beautiful fog, and all the trees are kind of trying to wake up. It's the beginning of summer, or maybe even autumn is still going on. I hope you have been following the videos and you have been trying it in your lives. Today I would like to touch on a small aspect which is quite fascinating if you really look at it, is that now I would like to slowly open up things about the mind. Okay, till now we've been covering the basics and the ground of what is needed to approach the mind. Okay, the kind of attitude, the kind of pre-training, you can say, is needed to approach the mind. Today I will start with something really nice, in the sense that it is something we do every day, and that is to desire. Okay, I'm not going to enter into the details of desire, but I'm going to point out the fact, the first aspect of it, the beginning of it, that we are all desiring something every day. Okay, whether it's a desire about a nice breakfast, or whether it's a desire about a new house, a new car. And here I would also like to distinguish between the difference between a desire and a need, where a need is something you cannot survive without. For example, oxygen is needed to survive for us. Water is needed to survive for us. So if you want to drink water, I'm not calling it a desire. Okay, so let's not get into this stupid discussion of but I also desire water, I also desire food. Food, clothes, shelter are like the basic requirements of a person. Okay, so they come in the aspect of physical security, which is needed to survive. What we call desire is something which the mind wants in addition to your needs, so that the mind feels comfortable, so that the mind feels calm, so that the mind feels safe, so that it adds something to your psychological identity. Okay, in a more simpler way, you can say, when you do something for the ego, that's a desire. And when you do something for your survival, that's a need. You need it. Okay, so in that sense, you can distinguish between the two. Okay, if you want shelter, that's a need. But if you want a bigger house because it adds to your prestige and it looks nice, then that would come in a desire. Okay, so in the same way, if you would look at desire, you would see that the desire is kind of trying to serve the me, the I, the ego every day. And the way it is serving is, it is trying to facilitate whatever the I needs. Then desire rises and it creates an urge inside of you to act in a way to fulfill that desire in somewhat, in any way that the desire is manifesting itself. Okay, so if the desire is of physical nature, like a sexual desire or something, it will instigate an urge inside of you to find someone with whom you can fulfill this urge, to find someone with whom you can give the mind this pleasure of sexual engagement. or if the desire is of status, then it has its own ways of getting things. The desire for power, so that you can feel stronger over others. Okay, but what I would really like to pinpoint, that before we open up all of this, my question is the desire really yours, actually? And why I say it is, when you are born, or any child is born, the child only carries the genetic memory which is coming from the species level. Okay, the child has all the genetic memory of survival and this kind of things, and the child doesn't know anything about status. The child doesn't know anything about a big house or anything. And slowly, as the child grows, he kind of learns that these things are to be desired in one way or another. So as you grew up, and it depends on what kind of environment you grew up. If someone grows up in Asia, you would see they have one kind of desires, and if someone grows in the United States, they have another kind of desires. Okay, there are some basic desires which stay the same for all humanity. For example, the desire to be happy, okay, the desire for sexual pleasure, the desire for what do you say, the desire to be calm. Okay, a lot of people don't like to be angry, but they still become angry, so they desire that, can I live a life where I am not angry? So there are some common desires which are present in humanity's nature, and then there are some desires which are coming actually from your surroundings, like what your society is teaching you. Wherever you're growing up, in a way, your society is teaching you what is right, what is not right, what kind of life you should lead, what kind of life you should have. Should you marry? Should you not marry? If you should marry, how many times you should marry? If you go in the Middle Eastern world, they will say it's fine to have multiple marriages. If you would come maybe in the Asian world, or even in the West actually, they would say it's not fine. You have to first divorce the first person and then go to the next person. So the desires are forming according to your culture, according to your environment in which you have grown. So my question is this desire actually yours then? If the desire has been borrowed or taken from the society, because if no one would have told you what to desire, or to desire to be powerful because it's nice, desire to have a lot of money because look, if you have a lot of money, how nice the life becomes, how you can control people and all this kind of stuff. So if no one would have told you, would you have still desired all these things? Or you are desiring all these things because as you were growing up, you saw all this, that the person who has a lot of power is living like this, I also want to live like this. The person who has a lot of money can buy anything at any time, I also want to be in the similar state, so I want to have a lot of money. So if you would observe, there is actually no inherent desire of the mind. Okay, please listen it carefully. There is no inherent desire of the mind which the mind actually wants. The mind is always wanting what it has absorbed from its culture, from its society, from its surroundings, environment, whatever word you might use. And then the mind absorbs that, and the mind also absorbs the information on basis of which it decides which of the things it has absorbed are more important and which are less important. So in that sense, you are absorbing all this, and then you are deciding, this desire is more important, this desire is less important, and this desire is, you prioritize, you categorize the desire, and you say this is needed more. And actually, this is also a new beautiful trap, that you create a desire and then you call it a need. Okay, a politician says, I need to win. Okay, because he thinks if he doesn't win, his life is worthless. Okay, An athlete feels the same, maybe, that I have to perform really nicely, I have to win a medal, I have to win a certain kind of trophy or whatever, and then my life becomes valuable and this and this. So you would see that all these desires that you are desiring are actually put up from the outside. You think it's your inside, you think you are desiring it. But actually, if no one would have told you what to desire, the only thing you would have desired is food, clothes, and shelter, which is needed for your survival, which we wouldn't call desire, which we would say it's our basic need, right? Which you would see even a child is desiring. When the child is just born, it's only desiring or asking for food from mother, okay? Or it feels cold, you have to give the child some clothes and everything. But as the child grows up, he sees the parents, he or she observes the parents, how the parents are behaving, and then the child also wants to do similar things, because the child wants to learn. And slowly in this way, then the child observes the society, what people are doing, how people are living, what people are calling right and what people are calling wrong, and the child learns that as well. And in essence, by the time the child grows, he has this kind of needs, and he has all these desires which are been put into him by the society, okay? And every person absorbs in a little bit different way according to their own psychological conditions, okay? If someone has had a rough childhood, they kind of close themselves and then they absorb very selectively, okay? Some child might absorb really openly. It all depends, and that's why it creates a unique person in a sense. From one sense, no person is unique, okay? We are not talking of that sense. We are talking of the sense on the surface, as it appears to be. Apparently every person appears to be different, okay? And that apparent difference is coming from this absorbing the society, absorbing the culture, absorbing the environment that you have. Now, in a way, it teaches you a lot of nice things as well, how to survive in this, but the way society is now, it is also giving all these kinds of desires which might be useful and might not be useful. And if these desires are not fulfilled, then you feel sad, then you feel life is not worth living for. But you don't realize that actually these desires are not inherently yours. You have copied them, borrowed them, taken them from the society by observing the society. And then you're thinking, if everyone in society is doing it, it must be right? How can it be wrong? How can it be wrong to want more money when everyone in the world wants more money, right? So, which is a very basic conclusion drawn. I think if you would apply your mind more rationally, more scientifically, in a more proper way, then you would question it. And when you would question it, you would investigate it and see if all those things are actually correct or not. So this is our first point today, that we would like to start about the mind. And I'm taking desire today just because it's quite easy. And inherently, what we would focus really is on thought, actually. But just desire is something we are really connected to. So I'm taking that as well. And not as well, I would say. I'm taking it because it's more easily experienced, okay? To experience activity of thought is very tricky. Thought is very clever and very, how do I say, it's very difficult to observe all the layers of thought. But with desire, it's much easier, because desire also creates this emotional urge inside of you, which is very easy to detect. So try to see this in your life. Make a list of all your desires and check, do you really want that? If no one would have told you about those things, would you still want those things? Are those like something actually your needs? Like, do you really need it? Or do you just want it because society tells you to have it? Or just because you want to have more prestige in society? You want to have a bigger house, more money? What are the reasons for those desires? Okay, so try to investigate it. And of course, thank you very much to the tree. It's autumn and the leaves are falling. So please check your desires. And I know people who are not serious about this will not go in the depth of it. But if you are serious, if you really want to investigate, this is something you must do. And you can make a small notebook about it, or one of my friend uses Notepad really nicely. I was really inspired by his use of Notepad. And you can do it digitally. Just use your Notes app or write down what you observe inside. If you look at yourself during the day, what kind of desires you're having, and you can note them down, and then check, are they actually your desires, or they are just the society's desire that everyone is desiring. Right? Because if everyone is desiring it and you're also desiring it, it's a desire of a society, a common lot desire, a common desire. So then the effect of that desire when you don't have it is reduced on you, because at the moment you think it's your personal desire, and because it's your personal desire, it has to be fulfilled for you to feel complete in your life. But when you see it's not your personal desire, it's a desire of everybody, literally, then you would see there is nothing special about it. It's a very common event, and then you might not take it so seriously. So let's begin like this, and in the coming videos we have some more very interesting things that we will uncover, and we will start working on thought. Actually, I really want to start that, but I have a few things that I want to first discuss as well. And we will share the silence of this kind of beautiful mornings, and we will try to uncover some stuff inside of us rationally, logically, not magically, or in that kind of sense, not in any kind of super way, not in any kind of mystical way or anything, just in a very simple way which everyone can approach very easily. And later on, if mysticism comes, then we will let it come, right? But at the moment, we are going to be as logical as possible. So I hope you're also enjoying your days and your mornings. Please take care of your health. This is something I have discovered recently about myself, that I was aware of so many things in my life, but I had neglected what I was eating. Okay, I had not neglected it completely, but some aspects of it I had neglected, that especially what is the right portion for you. It's very important, and you should check. Nowadays there are a lot of tools to check how much of food you need in a day. And I think usually how the shops are designed, how the supermarkets are designed, everything is just overfeeding you. Everything is just giving you a lot more than what you need. So be aware of that. Be aware of what goes inside your body. It's very important. And thank you very much for listening again. Thank you.